Bom dia. Temos aqui connosco um grupo de estudantes que veio da Dinamarca de uma academia de ensino superior, LILLEBAELT. E eles vieram visitar, portanto, esta viagem que eles estão a realizar a Portugal. Começaram pelo sul, depois vão também para a zona de Lisboa, vão ao Algarve e à zona de Leiria. Faz parte de uma unidade curricular que eles têm no curso deles que se chama International Trip. Study Trip. Escolheram Portugal e então vêm passar aqui uma semana, conhecer o tecido empresarial do setor agrícola e as ligações também às instituições de ensino superior e à investigação. Portanto, hoje vieram passar o dia connosco, já mostramos nos dois centros de experimentação que temos, portanto o Centro Hortofrutícola e o Centro de Experimentação Agrícola. Estavam lá alunos, falaram um pouquinho com eles também, o professor Luís mostrou-lhes também o MyFarm, e agora vai falar-nos um pouco daquilo que é a realidade deles, que é diferente da nossa presentemente. O curso que eles estão a fazer tem um formato semelhante àquilo que nós iremos fazer brevemente, os cursos de 2 anos, e portanto tem muitas afinidades com aquilo que eles estão neste momento a fazer. Eles vão fazer uma apresentação da escola deles, portanto da academia onde estão a tirar o curso, do sistema de ensino e também depois um bocadinho sobre a realidade agrícola na Dinamarca. Please.
Okay, hello everyone. We come from Denmark, and in Denmark there live 5.5 million, and in Portugal there live 10 million people. Yes, small. Yeah. We have some we want to speak about. The first one is who we are, the academy, our profession, Danish agriculture today, and to the last, if you have any questions, we will try to answer.
Yes. Who are we? I'm Camilla. I'm 19 years old. I chose the education because I'm very interested in animals, mostly horses. Yeah.
My name is Thea, and I'm 25 years old, and I'm an educated farmer from Denmark. I worked with dairy cows for 6 years in Denmark on a small farm with about 150 dairy cows. I also worked 1 year in New Zealand with about 2,000 dairy cows and calves and everything, so I know a lot about cows. In the future, the reason why I chose this education is because in the future I would like to teach and help young people understand how important it is that we have the agriculture and that we really use it in today. So I would like to be a good teacher, and maybe I would like to teach other countries also, go out and see the world and teach. So that's why I chose this education.
Yes, and I'm Louise, and I'm 20 years old. And I have choose this school because I like animals, I like food, we give animals, the most horse and a big house. So I want to learn more about it. Yes.
Yeah, and my name is Ulrik. I'm 24 years old, and I study crop production on the school. The reason why I chose this education was that I grew up on a farm. My dad is a farmer and has always been, so I have been helping him since I was a little boy. Yes. The academy, LILLEBAELT, is placed on an island in Denmark called Fyn, in the central part of Denmark. And the academy itself contains a lot of departments. You can see we have educations in the different areas of production, technology and multimedia, stuff like that. We also have a tourism school or department, and all of these lines that you see where it says international behind it, there is an Erasmus study part combined to it, so people from around the world can come and study in Denmark. And they are working on bringing the construction and sales, marketing, and the food and nutrition process also to becoming an international study. We, for our part, belong to the food and nutrition and process part.
Yeah. As you can see, our process is also divided in degrees. We can take a degree in agribusiness and landscaping. That's where we are studying. And then we can take a degree in process engineering. And we can take degrees in laboratory. And then after we have taken this degree, we have the opportunity to go and take our bachelor degrees. So the different majors. We have different majors in our size. In our degree. Yeah. Sorry. As you can see, we have the one major that's domestic animals, and that's where I'm taking my major, and Lisa and Camilla also. Ulrich is in the crop production major, and we also have people in our school that takes the economy and the environmental and nature, the majors. Yeah.
Yes. The major domestic animals. We learn about pigs, dairy cows, beef, cattle, chicken, mink, skin, and a little about horses. And when we're finished, we're educated in production management, regulations, optimizing, analysis, counseling, communication, and staff management and research.
Yes, my part of the education, the crop production part, we get a lot of education in cereal crop production, grains like barley and wheat. We also get a lot with trees and rape seeds and different vegetables, horticulture and fruits. And it's also a very big part of our education is also knowing when to fertilize and what to do, and spraying with like IPM, incorporated pest management. And when we're done in 2 years, we can go make some operation management and all the counseling and sales, and we also have to do a lot of registration and reporting to the government, so that's also a big part of this education.
Yes, and then we can take the major with economy, and then we learn about equating taxes, econometric analysis of optimizations, the global market, and marketplace. And when we're done, we can go out with the job and doing a book work, prepare tax papers for government, economic analysis, economic laws and regulations, external economic analysis, and bank jobs. So that's the difference you can choose.
And if you've chosen the major of environmental or nature, you will mostly have environmental evaluation. So you look at the land and see what is it good, is it bad, what can we use it for? And you also have a lot of laws in Denmark about the environmental. We have to protect it and be careful we don't break it. And then we have also the nature of, so we have to protect our nature and we see how can we best do it. And last we have to also have to learn about administrations of the state parks or state natures. So when they finish this education, they can go out and do counseling, enforcement. They can go out and teach the public about the nature, tell them which tree it is, and do different programs. And they can also go out and see if we are doing a good job as farmers to preserve the environment or to help it, or we just go out and damage it.
Yes.
Yeah. In Denmark, you can get paid to go to school. But you have to be 18 years old and you have to study minimum 23 hours per week. We study 45 hours per week. And when you live with your parents, you get about 330 euros a month. And when you live by yourself, you can get 760 euros a month. So we get paid on our education in Denmark.
Yes, Danish agriculture today, the most recent numbers I could find that were from the Institute of Statistics was from 2012, where we had about 2.65 million hectares of farmland in Denmark. That's about 60% of the total area of Denmark. That's land-based. We have a lot of water in Denmark too. In 1990, there were 80,000 farmers in Denmark, and 20 years later, back in 2012, there were only 40,000. So the number of farmers has decreased to the half, but still the output or the production of the farms or of the farmland has still increased by 12%, no 18%, sorry. So even though we make bigger farms and there are less farmers, we still try to optimize and get the most out of it. 50% of the land farmed in Denmark is used for grain production, for cereals. But 80% of all of the total amount of farmland in Denmark is used for animal feed. So what they produce of grains and stuff, they use for animal feed. Yes?
Does anyone have any questions?
And if there's anything particular you want to know, you can just ask, and we will try to find some pictures of it, or we can answer it directly, because this is what we like the most. If you just ask us what you want us to know. Okay? I don't know if you want to help me.
Pode ser em português, que eu depois faço a tradução. Sintam-se à vontade.
Nobody interested in farming? Are we in the wrong school? Or?
So the main production is the animal production.
It's animal production.
In Denmark, we went to see a dairy farm down here, and he said the highest cow he has produced about 30 liters of milk a day. And I was like, oh my God, that's a little. The main cow in Denmark that produced the most milk a day, it's about 50 to 60 liters, or 60 kilos a day. So we are like twice as much in one cow. And I was like, you have good area for making good crops and making good feed for the cows. And we still in little Denmark, we have rain all the time. And so it's a little hard to, but yeah, it will come. You just have to optimize your feed and make the cows use the feed they have. And take a lot of analysis and see what, so they use the milk better. And also we in Denmark are really high in breeding. We breed cows that has good milk, and the cows that don't have good milk, we just kill, use for meat. So our breeding cows are a lot higher also than the ones you have down here in the milk production areas. We normally have cows with the other on the ground, mostly if we can compare us to here, they have small, really good others, and in Denmark we have a big problem because we start to go over to robots? Yeah, robots. Milking robots right now. And the cow with the big udders, they don't fit because the robot can't put the cups on them because there's no room. So we have to go back now in breeding and start breeding cows with smaller udders and tits that's really straight, because some of the tits, I actually milk one cow, I call it a breakfast cow, because you stand like this and sleep on the cow while milking just to hold the cups on, but she gave about 70 liters, or 70 kilos a day, so she was a slow milker, but really good cow for production, but it was nice to just stand and, you know, good cow, take a nap. And we also have the milking stables in Denmark. A lot of them have floors that you can hire or go low. So we don't sit down and milk, we just stand and the cow's right here. And you milk like this. So it's really good condition for your back. I'm speaking too fast or?
It's okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's a lot different, the work. I mean, in Denmark we think a lot about the people that's working that you don't wreck your back really when you're young and you have to work a lot of years. So we think about how you can do it with machines, how you can ease your workload. We had automatic feeders for the calves where we just put milk powder in and it mixed with water and the cows come and drink when they want, small calves.
But you have production inside houses?
Yes. We have
Portugal, most of them are outside.
Yeah.
It's an extensive production.
Your production line is really similar to the one they have in New Zealand, where in Denmark we have to have everything inside.
You can see a picture of cows in Denmark.
Yeah, the stable inside
And big pavilions.
Yeah, big pavilions.
Yeah, the big houses, and the sides are half up. Mostly it's half up with the concrete, and then there's a curtain you can lower down in the summer and pull up in the winter. Many of the new stables, they have curtains all the way down. It's really a lot of rain in Denmark and a lot of wind, so in the winter we get down to -20. So all the pipeline with the water will freeze, and everything will just freeze to ice if we don't up the curtains, and then the cows will heat up the stable. So we have to actually have them inside, or else it will go correct.
Maybe I can give a little, also a little input to what's different from Portugal to Denmark. I heard from Louise that formerly here you made a lot of grain and cereal productions in this area. I talked to a farmer here and he says, well, we have 3 months to harvest our crops when they get ripe, and we don't have to pay dry costs. You don't have to dry anything up, it's all perfectly dry when you harvest. In Denmark, you seed in the fall around from mid-August to end October, around October. That's the last time you can put in for winter seeds. And then you have to wait for the whole winter, December, January, February, March, April, and then last of April and start of May, you can begin to put in the spring seeds, like spring barley and spring wheat. And then you have to wait again until March, May, June, July, and then at the end of July you can start harvesting grass seeds and stuff like that. But then you actually only have July and August to harvest.
Yeah.
But we harvest on 1 hectare of winter wheat. At my dad's farm, we harvest about 10 tons of wheat. So there's a lot of crops, a lot of grain on the plants. So we have to go slow with the big machines. So it takes a lot of time to harvest. And the longer you get, the more you reach September, the more moist and cold it gets. So we have to dry the grain also. So that's why you say the Danish farmers have stress all summer, because we have to harvest everything in a few days. And if we wait too long, it might drop on the ground and get wet, or we have to pay a lot to get it dried out, so we can use it for food for the animals.
Yeah, and we also need the sun to heat the straw. So we have the straw for the cows and the horses and everything. And we almost, I remember 3 years back, we had a really wet summer, and we had 3 days to get the straw in and to harvest and everything, and then the rain just come again. So we were working around the clock. We were actually almost pulling the straw out of the machine just to get it in. So yeah, it's hard work.
Very different. We have a lot of stress all the time.
Stress level are up here all the time, and down here it's like, oh, we have spring, don't worry.